Hello, it's Laura, and I wanted to just take a few minutes for those of you who might be interested in Become Legendary, because I wanted to just explain a little bit more about it. And so when I say become legendary, first of all, what I mean is becoming legendary in your own right and to yourself. So obviously sometimes when we become legendary to ourselves, we become legendary to the world, and we have dreams in which we may become legendary to the world. But really this program is about becoming legendary to yourself. And so it's for the woman who has dreams, has goals, and for whatever reason, she is not materializing them. And so there's a sense of days going by, busyness, weeks going by, months going by, years going by, sometimes even decades going by, where there's really no movement toward what she really wants and what she really aspires to. And so that's BS. And I believe that the way to quote unquote move through that or overcome that really starts with a deep connection to self, love for self, and belief in self. And so even though all of us have some measure of that, I believe that when you really start to show your love for yourself in beautiful ways, that you can't help but be inspired and motivated and determined and tenacious towards that which is most important to you to see come to fruition in your life. And it's a freaking ride, and it's so magical. It can be so magical and so prideful in the way of, oh my God, I got me and I got this, and I'm seeing myself move toward this, and it's freaking amazing. And so in my life, one of the huge ways that this has happened is in my move from Minnesota to California by myself, living alone, barely knowing anyone. I had a few acquaintances here, and I made it happen. And it was such a journey, and it still continues to be a journey, but there's something that grew, a character that grew within me that can never be taken away. And it's something that I've done recently. I've also done things in my past that took courage, but when you really have something that you've done that you can still feel that excitement in your veins and that life coursing through your veins, there's something really special about it. There's something really powerful about it. And so I believe that a lot of times there's a sense of looking externally for what's within us, and for looking, for instance, I've had different courses on business and marketing and things like that. And I stayed right where I was. I stayed stagnant because there wasn't enough of this sort of inner connection and inner love and inner belief to propel me forward. And so that's why this course is really, it starts there, because that's where it starts. When you really start to love yourself and know that you have the power to change your life, and you also have the tenacity and the reason, and you start to see what's really possible, it's like there's no other option. You just start to do what you got to do and what feels really good. And that's the thing, is that when we think about things that have happened in the past, a lot of times we won't move forward because we associate more pain than pleasure with the potential for perhaps rejection, or just feeling like we're imperfect, and so therefore it won't work. And there's just a myriad of reasons why we don't step forward. But when you start to really, like I said, have that sense of I am worth more, I am tolerating this life that may be good. It's, it's not a terrible life. It may be good, but it's not great. And it could be great. And I have this one life. And so I want it to be great. I want it to be greater. And I'm ready to step into that. And the key is to be in that space of I'm so worth it. And I love myself so much. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on. I have definitely some systems that are really revolutionary in shifting perspective, and then also definitely an exercise that after you do it, it's almost like you're never the same again, because you can't ever look at your life the same again, and it's really extraordinary. And then I just wanted to tell you what some of the modules will hold, as far as it's a very robust and full picture of self-care and self-love. And so I have a list here. We're going to be talking about your routines. So what do your routines look like in the morning? What do they look like in the evening? How can you cultivate a delicious caring for your spirit and your body and your mind during those times of the day? We're going to be talking about your environment or your home. Super, super important as you move forward and change. Your clothing and your accessories. So that makes a statement to you before anyone else sees it. It makes a statement to you. Super important. And then exercise. How do you move your body? Woo! Eating and preparing foods. It is it can be a magical experience. And it can really bolster a sense of self-love. Body/hygiene. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We will be talking about that. And then indulging yourself. How do you indulge yourself? Super, super important that in big and small ways that there's always this sense of indulging you, because you're so important and wonderful. Generosity. So many of us are so generous, and it just sort of happens, and there's really this beautiful way of loving yourself and receiving good juju when you do it. Financially, we're going to be talking about money mindset and how to have a super yummy sort of playful energy with money. And then celebrating yourself. How often do you do something fucking fantastic and you never think twice about it? And then we have spiritual. So how do you cultivate a relationship with the divine and with your own spirit? Organizational. So we're going to be talking a little bit about clutter and that type of thing, and how you sort of organize your life, making sure that it's A-okay and A+ for what you want to move into. And then we're going to talk about magic, because magic is all around us, and we're goddesses that can create whatever the heck we want. Sensuality, super important. A lot of times, especially as we get quote unquote, we age like fine wine, our sensuality seems to go down the drain, and absolutely not. We're bringing back that flame. We're dancing with passion. And so it's definitely a celebration of sensuality. And then inner child. So once I started, and it's raining here in Southern California, so if you hear rain, but once I started to really get in touch with my inner children, it's like I have so much more grace for myself, and I protect myself, set boundaries, and I feel more complete and whole. And so it's a beautiful thing to get in touch with your inner child / children, and it creates just a lovely connection and a feeling of wholeness. And then self-talk, we're gonna really talk a lot about that, because it's so important. I mean, there's so many thoughts that go through your mind about yourself during the day, and so we're going to become super aware on that and super crystal clear about what we want to say to ourselves. So that is a little snapshot of some of the things that we're going to be talking about in Become Legendary. It starts it starts on March 10th, and everything is recorded, so if you can't make the live sessions, no big deal. And it's going to be amazing. It's a 3-month journey into loving yourself and transitioning and witnessing yourself become legendary. And so I hope, again, I'm turning into a pirate here apparently, but if you have any questions, you can email me at laura@iamlaurak.com, and I'm happy to answer them. But I would love for you to join me on this journey. It's life-changing. You won't recognize yourself when you're done, and I am just super excited to bring this to life. So, mwah, my love to you.